Bonjour, Kichibinasi Dijinikaz, Pajiu Tutem, Not Kamegwaning Donji. My English name is AJ White. I belong to the Lynx clan and I come from a community called Whitefish Bay. I was approached within KCA to talk a little bit about our Anishinaabe Nene, which means our men in our Anishinaabe language. I can only speak to so much about men's teachings, just because our teachings are different from community to community, even from families to families. But one of the things that we try to talk about mostly is respect. One of the 7 grandfather teachings is respect. As men, historically, society teaches us to not show feelings, to not be able to express ourselves. Men are strong and are supposed to be strong according to society. But over the years, especially our Anishinaabe men, due to residential school, 60 scoops, the past traumas that has occurred to a lot of our elders, a lot of those teachings have kind of come from that. And that's one thing that I try to share in my talks with especially young men, is that it's okay to express yourself. It's okay to talk about these things that hurt us, things that bother us. Not to express them in that mean way anymore, not to hide them behind alcohol or addictions. We try our best now to express ourselves. Even myself, I got sober in 2018 and it took me that amount of time to now to realize that it's okay to express what you feel. And when it comes down to the mental health side of things, using your mind to express yourself, it is hard. But we have our items that we could get behind, we could utilize. I carry my drum around with me. I make sure I light a sage whenever I get a chance to ensure that you're walking that good path. Each and every person, not only men, have their own healing journey, have their own story. It's not going to be the same for everyone. Not everyone's going to have a cut and paste healing journey. Everyone's going to have their own way. Some people utilize the drum, our culture. Sometimes it doesn't work for everyone. Some people utilize the Western way of healing, whether that's through treatment centers, clinicians, therapists, counselors. A lot of people utilize that too as well. But it's that balance. I know that our elders talk lots about balance, and that's utilizing Western ways of healing and also our traditional cultural ways of healing as well. So it's all about the individual, what works for them and what they believe in. And the main thing is men believing in themselves to be able to get through that. Our men and women generally, even young kids, all our Anishinaabe did have long hair. I got long hair too. I just grew mine out when I got sober. And the hair represents strength. Normally women would wear their hair in braids, and the braids represent that strength. If we go into a clinical hospital setting where there has to be, that consent, right, from doctors, nurses being able to touch certain areas, especially your hair, right, when it comes to being able to feel comfortable about that. So when we have our doctors and nurses asking and having that knowledge prior, they respect each person's values, teachings. It could be across the board. If we have our non-Indigenous brothers and sisters coming into a place where there's a heavy Indigenous population and they see things that they're not used to, whether it be our drums, our medicines, language, things like that are very sacred to us, I would always implore that respect. Just being respectful of others, the cultural beliefs. One thing that I've seen that I think is pretty common in our area is just general touching of things. We have a tendency, I know our non-Indigenous brothers and sisters have a tendency to want to go touch and feel things, for example, our drums, and they're like, whoa, can I see that? If we go to our powwows, our gatherings, we have a lot of non-Indigenous people that come to powwows and gatherings where they do just kind of go up to somebody and touch their regalia, touch their sacred feathers, touch things like that. That's like a no-no. and that comes from that respect again for our own individual property. But I think we've learned in time, I've seen in time where it is announced by the master of ceremonies at our gatherings to say if you are looking to get pictures with our dancers or with our drums, ask permission, just being respectful of one's privacy. One of the main things when it comes to asking is using that tobacco. The power of that tobacco is our greatest gift amongst our Anishinaabe. Going to the drum to saying, I'll offer tobacco if I could get a picture with you guys around this drum. Or if you're going to a dancer and you see some nice regalia, you offer them tobacco to say, can I get a picture with you? I really like your regalia. When we talk about the men's role, men's teachings, men are known as the protectors, the heads of families. We have that role, whether it be ceremony, whether it be, in a household especially, right? We have that duty to be protectors. And one of the teachings that I could share, because I was taught by my father, is that we always make sure we provide, no matter which way we can. You're always going to be that provider within that family. When it comes down to ceremony, there are certain roles that we have in ceremony, and that's one of them is sitting around our drums. That's one of our roles in ceremony. Men also have that role of being fire keepers. We're always going to have to be supports to our families, protectors of our women, protectors of our children, protectors of our way of life. The men's role is very broad, and no matter what setting it is, family, ceremony, community, we have that duty, that responsibility to be protectors and to be kind. That's the main thing, is that kindness that we have to show. We talk about the 7 grandfather teachings. What I was taught from my home community of Whitefish Bay is that there's not 7. There's many more teachings outside of those 7 grandfather teachings. We have to be stewards of the land, of our waters, of our language, of our way of life. And the men's role in all those is we protect the women who protect the water. We protect our children who are our next generation of the language, culture, ways of life. We're protectors of our elders to continue on their teachings as well. So I think being a protector is this big piece of men's teachings in our Anishinaabe way of life.